Hey guys, welcome back to Spin Crochet Repeat, RCC. The RCC stands for Robin's Crochet Creations, which is where you can find me on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find me at Spin Crochet Repeat, RCC, here on YouTube, Rumble, and in my Etsy store. So today I am neither spinning nor crocheting nor repeating, but I'm going to do a little experiment. I'm going to attempt to dye this yarn. I have some food coloring gel that I'm going to use for this. This is, I love this wool brand from Hobby Lobby. It is 100% wool. It doesn't say what kind, but it is in the ivory, I guess you'd call it a colorway. They have other more, I guess you'd call them kind of natural wool colors. And so I thought, well, this is close enough to white for me. I will give it a try. So we have, it is a medium worsted weight, and there are 220 yards. My goal is to create something kind of fall themed. Don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to give it a shot. I have Harvest Brown. I have Egg Yellow. I have a regular yellow, but it's very, very bright, so I feel like this one may be a little bit more toned down. I have Orange. And I have Red. While I get this yarn soaking, I am going to play with these colors just a little bit. Not sure how much of that I will put in this video, but that is the plan, because I don't want these to be smack you in the face bright. I do want them to be more fall, a little more muted. That may involve adding just a drop or two of either black or brown. Like I said, I'll play with the colors and I'll kind of see what comes out. Again, this is 220 yards, so I'm going to use my PVC pipe Nitty Knotty, and I'm going to get this wound into skein form, and I'm going to get it soaking in some vinegar water, which will help bind the food coloring dye to the yarn. So we will pick up with the color mixing in just a moment. Alright, so we are going to work on the colors now. I'm putting some gloves on because this is food coloring. It's not in powder form or anything like that, so I'm fine without a mask, but it can and will stain just like any other food coloring can. So what my plan is I have covered just a little bit of my work surface with some plastic wrap. I have these squirt bottles with some of the water from the pre-soak, so it has that vinegar in it. I also have some bamboo, that's difficult to say and I don't know why. Got those for mixing, so I'm going to, that was about 10 drops of the brown, the Harvest Brown, and then I'll drip it on the paper towel, and I do know that I want that darker than that. So you can do some very simple color mixing exercises just with food coloring on your own, and just see what you like. probably up to about 30 drops now. And we are getting darker. I'm going to add 1 or 2 drops of black. I'm going to do 1 drop first. That might have been 2. There's my oven. 1 more drop of black. My plan is to heat this in the oven. So I have it preheating. It's important to keep in mind that with food coloring, the colors may not be as potent as with acid dyes. And you just keep going until you kind of get what you want. I highly suggest Rebecca with Kim Knits Tutorials. She shows how to do color triangle mixing exercises, which I may do at some point. It will not be today, but hopefully soon. Okay. I think I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to just use a regular kitchen funnel. And, ooh, I got that awful close. Alright. So we have that one done. I'm going to rinse these out. And start over with the next color. Now I had mentioned before that I wanted to get the, and a good way to keep up with this is if you fill this up or put however much liquid you want in there and then pour it in here, you know you're not going to overflow. I mentioned that I wanted the colors to be just a little bit more muted, more fall-like, and not so very bright and in your face. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay, we'll see what this does. 10 drops. Now this is gel, whereas the brown was airbrush, so it was already watered down. That's part of why the consistency is different. As you can see there, that is rather bright and a little more pink than red. So I'm going to add 5 more drops. And 1 drop of black. And that black is pretty pigmented. Okay, yeah, that's what I want. Got there a whole lot quicker with that one than with the brown. It's a very autumn color, I believe. So, that one was fairly easy. Here's hoping the other 2 go that way with the orange and the yellow. May not do much to the orange. Orange is already a very fall color. Start started off with 15 drops of that since we did 15 drops of the red. And that's pretty pale, so I'm going to add more. Just 10 more drops. We're getting there. Right now I'm at 25 drops on the orange. And that is the fun thing about this also. I'm going to add 1 drop of brown. See what it does? Is you can add as little or as much as you like. You can leave it bright. You can dull it down. You can make it pastel. I like that orange. It is, unlike so many other things in life today, we can get these personalized to the max. Now this yellow is called an egg yellow. So it's not as bright as a regular yellow, but I want more of a sunflower yellow. That's what I'm hoping for. So here we go. Oh, and this is the gel. Let me see what 8 drops looks like. You can see it's a rather orangish color. More orange than what you would probably expect for the yellow to be. And yet it's still, it doesn't even look like there's any pigment at all on my camera. It's the palest of yellows. Well, there was an extra drop in there, but that's okay. Okay, that's more intense. Let's add 1 drop of brown. That's getting there. A little bit more yellow, I think. And I believe that will probably get us where I'm wanting to go with it. Yeah. I like that. You can see there's a progression there as we deepen the color just a smidge, little by little. Alright, so I'm going to pour this into the bottle. And here we have our fall colors. So I'm going to get my yarn set up, and that's where we'll pick up next. Okay, so here's the yarn in skein form. I have put a rubber band around this to help me handle it a little bit better without tangling it. I will remove that before putting this in the oven. So this is just a couple of throwaway casserole dishes. I won't be throwing them away though. I'll be washing them and reusing them. And I have this laid out. Well, let's see. I'll move this over and just do it this way. Well, it's the same effect, but either way, we have a big loop like this. So that's fine. I should have gotten a bigger pan, but that's okay too. Now I'm just going to start applying the dye that we just mixed. I soaked this in some warm vinegar water for about 2 hours, I guess. And it's not wanting to go on that at all. I'm going to have to press it down. This is likely going to give us a very tonal result, even within with the same colors, because it's doesn't seem to all be absorbing quite in the same way, but that's all right. So I'm going to go to the red now, and I'm just kind of freehanding this. Making sure I press down and try not to overlap the colors. Did a little bit. I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay. Now for the orange. I have, and it's probably painfully obvious, not done very much yarn dye. But everybody has to start somewhere, and this is my somewhere. And that's okay. So, if you are interested in doing this, do some research, do some digging, find out what you need. Find out what proper safety precautions you need to take, and just do it. Even if you're scared, just give it a try. Just go for it, because it may end up being one of the best things you've ever done. This life is too, if you'll allow me to wax philosophical for a moment, this life is far too short to be wasted. And if you're doing something where you are learning, growing, particularly learning an old skill that many people just don't have, then, you know, give it a try, because if most people don't have that skill, then how are they going to know if you mess it up? They won't. And that's a beautiful thing. There's room in this world to be different. I had intended on flipping this, but I think with me pressing down, the colors are getting through pretty well. So I'm going to go back over this brown. I want to deepen that color a bit now that I've established kind of where I want the colors. And it looks really pretty on top. Here's hoping it's not a total mess on the bottom. But if it is, that's fine too. It's yarn. It's okay. Go back over these reds. not to leave too many white spaces, but if there's some, it's not going to be the end of the world. And when it comes down to it, as long as I like it, that's all that matters. And the same thing with anything you try. If it's your creativity, as long as you like it, don't worry about what other people think. We have a lot of so-called experts that probably have never done anything in their life. So why are we worried about what they think? Just don't worry about it. Use your creativity the way it has been given to you. And just be happy with it. I really don't know how well these colors are staying put on the bottom side. I'm curious to know, but I know that if I start flipping it now, I am going to mess it up. What I would consider messed up. So I'm going to finish touching up these areas, and I'm going to put it in the oven. It is preheated to a very low temperature, and I have a separate pan with water in there to create steam. So that is the plan, is to then have some steam going to help steam set this. And before I forget, I need to take this rubber band off. We don't need melty mess on the wall. There we go. Okay, so I think I'm done with that. I will leave what little bit I have left in these bottles, just in the event that I need to touch up any areas. I don't think that I will. And none of these, I don't believe any of these colors should break. So, that looks really good on camera. I like that. Alright, so I'm going to put this in the oven. I'm going to let it steam set. I'm going to leave the door propped open just a little bit. And so that we don't cook it and totally dry it out. I'm going to give it about 10 minutes and then I'll update. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and the yarn is still very cool to the touch. So I'm actually going to shut the door on this fully and give it about another 10 minutes, and then I'll check on it, and if there's anything noteworthy, I will update then. If not, I'll pick up when there is something noteworthy. Alright, so it's been about 10 minutes and I wanted to update. The yarn is starting to get warm. You can see over here in this pan, we've got bubbles on the bottom. So I'm just keeping a nose out. Don't want to smell burnt hair. That would mean that the yarn is getting way too warm. So I'm going to do another check back in just a little bit. Alright, so checking in on the yarn, you can see here we've had a little bit of breaking where the brown and the yellow have combined, but this is a fall color. We have green and pumpkin, so I'm okay with the bits of green here and there. And I'm going to zoom in here and turn my flash on, and our water is looking pretty clear. So I'm going to take this out and we'll see what we've got. Getting my gloves back on. Letting that cool off for just a second. The lowest my oven goes is 175. So that is what it has been on for the last little while. Again, our water is clear. Right now, I'm just going to check for white spots. That is very, very hot. Always handle with care. Oh, we do have white spots. Okay, so how do I do this? Let's see. I'm going to just flip it. It's not going to be very graceful, but not much I do is very graceful. That's okay. Alright, so we don't have a lot of white spots, but as you can see, we've got this one pretty good sized one there and one here. So I'm going to grab our bottles of leftovers and try to figure out which one is yellow and which one is orange. This is why you, oh, I can tell now. This is why you write stuff down and label things. I'm just going to add a little color in there. Any white spots I see, because this is going to be a variegated colorway anyways. I'm just going to add it in. Anywhere I see red, it looks more pink on the bottom, so I'm going to kind of touch those areas up. Okay, and there's the yellow. And I'm actually really glad that the yellow did not get completely overpowered, as tends to happen. Okay, a little brown on that spot. Okay, so I'm going to put this back in the oven, and I think we ended up having a total time of about 30 minutes before. So I'm going to, I'll keep checking it about every 10 minutes until I see that the water is clear. And we'll come back and get it washed to make sure there's no residual dyes. Alright, so we are once again clear with the water that is left. We are about to start rinsing. Alright, so I'm going to squeeze some of the water out of the yarn. And I'm going to plop it back into that pre-soak. Probably not entirely necessary, but just on the off chance that there might be any more bleeding, I want to give that vinegar a chance to soak in there and hopefully prevent that. I'm trying to watch where I get this. Since I cut that rubber band off, I don't want to end up with a tangle. pour just a little bit of dish soap into the same pan that I used to dye the yarn. I'm actually wondering, did I even need that other pan to keep moisture inside the oven? Because the yarn stayed sufficiently saturated. That may be my next experiment, is trying it without that. I'm leaning towards not needing that. Even with the dish soap, I'm not seeing any bleeding at all. Now, this is 100% wool, so I'm trying to not handle it very much. I think that's one of my ties that came out. Okay. There we are. Looks very fall-like. Colors aren't quite coming through very well. Let me turn this flash on. And there we go. Very much the turkey lurkey. So I'm going to spin a little bit more water out of this and show another close-up. Alright, so just as a reminder, this is where we kind of did our color testing and mixing. I patted my gloved hand on that quite a bit. But here was the different shades of brown until I reached the one that I liked. The reds, the yellows, and the oranges. The reds, oranges, yellows. And here is the yarn. We still have little bits of white. We have little bits of green where the yellow and brown combined and broke a little bit. So overall, I am very happy with this. I think it will be lovely. Don't know what I'm going to make with it, but I'm sure whatever it is will be pretty. So if you want to see what I make out of this, check me out on Facebook and Instagram, Robin's Crocheted Creations. And I would ask for you to like and subscribe either here on YouTube or on Rumble. And I appreciate you watching. See you next time.